Hello my dear students. In this lecture I will discuss about the polyhydramnios. Before moving towards the topic, I just first want to say that guys, if you find my video useful, then please like to my video, and if you are new at my channel, then please subscribe to my channel. Now moving towards the topic. What is poly? It means more or too much. And when the too much or more amniotic fluid is present in the amniotic sac, that condition is known as polyhydramnios. The synonym of polyhydramnios is hydramnios. First of all, its definition. Anatomically or structurally, the polyhydramnios is defined as a state where the liquor amini or the amniotic fluid exceeds 2000 ml. Normally, the amount of amniotic fluid in the amniotic sac is 600 ml at term. But if the amount of amniotic fluid exceeds 2000 ml, that condition is known as polyhydramnios. Next is its clinical definition. The excessive accumulation of liquor amini which causing discomfort to the patient and or when an imaging help or when an ultrasound is needed or required to substantiate or to confirm the clinical diagnosis of the lie and the presentation of the fetus. As due to the excessive accumulation of the liquor amini, the lie and the presentation of the fetus is not clear with the abdominal grips. So that's why the imaging help or the ultrasound is required to confirm the lie and the presentation of the fetus. And the sonographic diagnosis or the ultrasonography is done when the AFI or the ultrasound which reveals that the AFI, that is the amniotic fluid index, is more than 25 centimeter and a single pool or the deepest vertical pocket is more than 8 centimeter. These two terms I described in detail in my previous video of oligohydramnios, but still I'll explain it again for you. In this diagram you can see the uterus is divided into 4 quadrants and the umbilicus of the mother is considered as a midpoint for dividing the uterus into 4 quadrants. In the blue color you can see this is the amniotic fluid and these are the deepest vertical pockets. This is one single deepest vertical pocket which is free from fetal parts and the umbilicus, and its depth is measured in centimeters. Normally the depth of deepest vertical pocket is lie between 2 to 8 centimeter. Now what is AFI? That is amniotic fluid index. It is the sum of the deepest vertical pockets which are lying in each 4 quadrants, and its normal value is 8 to 18 centimeter. And when the deepest vertical pocket's depth is more than 8 centimeter plus the amniotic fluid index is more than 25 centimeter, that condition is known as polyhydramnios. Next is the incidence of polyhydramnios. Under this, the incidence actually varies from 1 to 2% of cases or pregnancies. Next is the etiology of the polyhydramnios. Under this, first one is fetal anomalies or the fetal abnormalities. Under this, first one is anencephaly. Next is open spina bifida, esophageal or duodenal atresia, fecal clefts and neck masses, hydrops fetalis. Next is placenta. Under this, there is a chorioangioma of the placenta or the benign tumor of the placenta which leads to polyhydramnios. Next is multiple pregnancy. Next one is maternal causes. Under this, there is diabetes and the cardiac or renal disease. These all causes I will discuss one by one in detail. Before discussing the etiology in detail, I just first want to discuss few things. This is the amniotic fluid surrounds the baby. Baby swallow the amniotic fluid which is reabsorbed by the lungs and the intestine of the baby, as it is very important for the maturation or the proper development of the lungs and the GI system. Plus the baby passes the urine in the amniotic sac. If due to some reason the fetus is not swallowing the amniotic fluid, that leads to polyhydramnios, as it increases the amount of amniotic fluid. And if the baby passes excessive urine due to some reason, that also leads to polyhydramnios, as it increases the amount of amniotic fluid in the amniotic sac. And the next word which I want to discuss is transudate. You will hear this word again and again in this video, so I just want to clear this word first. This is the normal vessel with the normal hydrostatic pressure plus normal osmotic pressure. But in this case, the hydrostatic pressure is increase and the osmotic pressure is decrease. So what is hydrostatic pressure? That is the pressure exerted by the fluid. And because of that pressure, because of hydrostatic pressure, the fluid actually leaks. And that condition is known as transudate. There is another word which is exudate. In this, the fluids and proteins both are leaked. But in the case of transudate, only fluid leakage occurs due to the increase of hydrostatic pressure. Under the fetal anomalies or abnormality, the first cause is anencephaly. This is a condition in which the brain is not properly developed and there is incomplete skull, or when the skull bones are not properly formed. As you can see, this is the diagram of anencephaly. Anencephaly leads to the excessive production of liquor amine. How? So that might be due to transudation from the exposed meninges. The word transudate I already explained. Next word is meninges. What are meninges? These are the membranes covering the brain and the spinal cord. It actually provides the protection. But as the brain is not properly developed, the meninges are exposed, because of which the cerebrospinal fluid is leaked in the amniotic sac, and that leads to polyhydramnios. Next is the absence of fetal swallowing reflex. If the fetus is not swallowing the amniotic fluid, that will lead to polyhydramnios, which I already explained. Next is possible suppression of fetal ADH. Now what is ADH? That is antidiuretic hormone. What is the function of this hormone? To reabsorb the water. But if there is a suppression of this hormone, then there is no reabsorption of the water. That will lead to excessive urination, and if there is excessive urination, that will lead to polyhydramnios. Next is open spina bifida. This is the diagram of open spina bifida. In this condition, the spinal cord of the baby is not properly developed. As you can see, the spinal cord and the meninges are exposed. There is increased transudation from the meninges, as the cerebrospinal fluid is leaked from the meninges. That will lead to polyhydramnios. Next is esophageal or duodenal atresia. This is the diagram of esophageal atresia. As you can see in the green color, this is the esophagus, which actually separated into two segments that does not connect with each other. The next one is duodenal atresia. Duodenum is the first part of small intestine. This is a congenital abnormality. In this, either the part of duodenum is completely absent or its lumen is closed. Lumen is the opening or the inner space of any tubular structure. And these both conditions actually preventing the swallowing of liquor or the amniotic fluid, that leads to polyhydramnios. Next is facial clefts and the neck masses. What are facial clefts? This is a congenital malformation in which there is opening or the gaps present in the face, or there is malformation of the part of the face. These both are the diagrams of facial clefts. These actually interfering in the normal swallowing of the amniotic fluid, which causes polyhydramnios. Next is hydrops fetalis. It is a condition when the large amount of fluid built up in the baby's tissues and the organs. And with the progression or continuation of this condition, it leads to placentomegaly. What is placentomegaly? That is the enlargement of the placenta or the edema of the placenta. And when there is a edema of the placenta occurs, it will leads to transudation. And when there is a transudation, it will leads to polyhydramnios. Next is placenta. Under the placenta, there is chorioangioma of the placenta. What is chorioangioma? It is a benign tumor. And when the tumor is growing from a single villus, that is chorionic villi, consisting of hyperplasia of blood vessels and connective tissues. What is hyperplasia? It is the increase in the number of cells. As when the tumor is growing, the blood vessels becomes enlarged. Plus there is the hyperplasia of the connective tissues, and that will result in increased transudation. And when there is a increased transudation, it will leads to polyhydramnios. Next is multiple pregnancy. Under this, especially the uniovular twins, that are the monozygotic twins. As there is interconnecting vascularity in the placenta, and the one fetus obtains more circulation as compared to the other one, and the fetus who obtain the more circulation has the hypertrophy of heart and the kidneys. What is hypertrophy? That is the increase in the size of cells, and that will leads to increased urine production, and as a result polyhydramnios occurs. Next are the maternal causes. Under this, first one is diabetes. If the mother has diabetes, that is, if there is increased maternal blood sugar, that will leads to increased fetal blood sugar. And if the blood sugar of fetus is increased, the urine output of fetus is also increased. As a result, polyhydramnios or the hydramnios occurs. Next is the cardiac or renal diseases, that is the heart or the kidney disease, may leads to edema of the placenta. And if the edema of the placenta occurs, that will leads to increased transudation. And if there is the increased transudation, that will leads to polyhydramnios. Next are the clinical types of the polyhydramnios. Under this, there are two types of polyhydramnios, that is the chronic and the acute one. The chronic type is more common, while the acute type is very rare or the extremely rare type. The onset of chronic polyhydramnios is insidious, means slow, and it takes few weeks. But the onset of acute polyhydramnios is sudden. It occurs within few days. And the chronic variety is 10 times more commoner than the acute one. Next are the clinical features of polyhydramnios. Under this, there are symptoms as well as signs. So first of all, symptoms. First one is respiratory symptom, that is dyspnea. Difficulty in breathing occurs, as because of the accumulation of excessive amniotic fluid in the amniotic sac, the uterus become more enlarged as compared to the normal. So that's why it exerts pressure on the diaphragm, because of which it actually prevents the proper expansion of the lungs. As a result, dyspnea occurs. Next is palpitation. What is palpitation? It is the feeling of fast heartbeat. Next is the edema of the legs or the swelling of the legs occur. Next are the varicositis in the legs or the vulva. What is varicositis? That is the formation of varicose vein. How the varicose vein form? As the inferior vena cava is compressed because of the pressure exerted by the enlarged uterus, which actually carries the blood to the heart from the feet and the legs. But if it is compressed, it will lead to the formation of varicose vein in the legs or vulva. Varicose veins are those veins which becomes enlarged, dilated or overfilled with the blood. Next is hemorrhoids. Veins become enlarged and swollen, which causes itching, burning at the anus. But why the hemorrhoids form? As the enlarged uterus puts the pressure on the veins, as a result, veins become enlarged and the swollen, and which causes the itching and the burning at the anus. After the symptoms, next are the signs of polyhydramnios. Signs are those which are observed by the physician. Under this, first one is the patient may be in a dyspneic state, that the patient is having difficulty in breathing even in the lying down position. Next is evidence of preeclampsia may be present. Preeclampsia includes hypertension, proteinuria, and edema. Under the signs, next is abdominal examination. And under abdominal examination, first of all, inspection. Abdomen is noticeably enlarged. As due to the excessive accumulation of amniotic fluid, the abdomen becomes enlarged, which is clearly noticeable. And it looks globular, means like globe shaped, with fullness at the flanks. What are flanks? These are the sides of the body. As due to the enlargement or due to the excessive accumulation of amniotic fluid, the skin becomes stretched. So the skin is tense, shiny with large stray. What are stray? These are stretch marks. After inspection, next is palpation. So while doing palpation, it is revealed that in the case of polyhydramnios, the height of the uterus is more than the period of amenorrhea or more than the period of gestation. Next is the girth of the abdomen, which is actually Meyer with the Meyering tape around the umbilicus, is more than normal. Next is fluid thrill. This is the test which is actually done for assessing the ascites. What is ascites? The free fluid in the abdominal cavity. In the case of polyhydramnios, the fluid thrill can be obtained in all directions over the uterus. So in the case of polyhydramnios, the fluid thrill test is positive, as due to the excessive accumulation of amniotic fluid in the amniotic sac. How the fluid thrill test is performed? You can see this diagram. First of all, ask the patient to push their hand down on the midline of the abdomen. Then examiner tap on the one side of the abdomen and feel that tap on the another side of the abdomen. And if the examiner feel that tap on the another side of the abdomen, it means the fluid thrill test is positive, which reveals that there is free fluid accumulated. Next is, in the case of polyhydramnios, fetal parts cannot be well defined. Next is auscultation. So with the auscultation, fetal heart sound is not heard clearly, but its presence can be picked up by the Doppler ultrasound. Next is the internal examination, which reveals cervix is pulled up, as the uterus is more enlarged due to the excessive amniotic fluid in the amniotic sac. So that's why cervix is pulled up and may be partially taken up or partially effaced, or at times dilated as much to admit a fingertip through which tense or stretched, bulged or pop out or protruded membranes can be felt. Membranes such as amnion and chorion are tense or bulged because of the excessive amniotic fluid, which is revealed by the internal examination. Next are the investigations which are mainly done in the case of polyhydramnios. Under this, first one is sonography. In the sonography, the ultrasound waves are used to produce images which reveals the single pole or the deepest vertical pocket is more than 8 cm and the AFI, that is amniotic fluid index, is more than 35 cm. Next is radiography. In this case, the radiations are used to create the medical images. Next is blood test. Under this, first one is ABU and RH grouping. As RH incompatibility causes the edema of the placenta, which as a result causes polyhydramnios. Next is postprandial blood sugar level. What is postprandial? Means after a meal, the blood sugar level should be checked, as the increased maternal blood glucose level causes polyhydramnios. These both I already explained under the etiology. Next is the management of polyhydramnios. If the patient is having dyspnea or any kind of discomfort, then hospitalize the patient. Next is postprandial blood glucose level should be assessed. ABU and RH grouping should be done. Ultrasonography should be done. And if the fetus is not having abnormality along with the polyhydramnios, in that case, if the patient is responsive to the treatment, then continue the pregnancy and management of the complicating factors if there is any. But if the patient is unresponsive to the treatment with maternal distress, in that case, if the pregnancy is less than 37 weeks, then the amino reduction or the amniocentesis should be done. It is a procedure in which the good amount of liquor or the amniotic fluid is drained out or removed, and it should be done slowly so as to prevent the accidental hemorrhage. And it may be repeated as it can be accumulated again sooner or later. So this procedure may be repeated. But if the pregnancy is 38 weeks or more than 38 weeks, then amino reduction or amniocentesis should be done. And while performing the amniocentesis, the lie of the fetus should be checked and corrected if required. And if the lie is longitudinal, then start the oxytocin drip, and artificial rupture of membranes should be done, and conduct the vaginal delivery. That's all about the polyhydramnios. I hope you all are clear with this topic, but still guys, if you have any kind of query, then please ask me in the comment section. I will definitely answer your queries.